んミャネかどうしたミャネ
Hello everyone, Purple Georgie here, and today I want to talk about probably one of the funniest anime debates of the recent years, because while everyone was enjoying Halloween, the weebs were trying to debate which one of the PNGs they like would win in a 1v1. I'm of course talking about Bakugo against Reese discussion, but today not only I will answer which one will win, because not gonna lie, this debate is not even really interesting, it's kind of obvious, but more importantly, we will laugh about people's opinions online because oh boy, there is a lot going on.
The Bakugo versus Riza debate is so funny because Riz is a girl and I'd let myself get killed by her.
And now, if you have your own life and you have no idea what's going on, essentially, let me introduce you to this dumpster fire of a discussion. Essentially, there exist two very popular anime, Chainsawman and My Hero Academia, and recently both of them have dropped their hits. Chainsawman dropped a 1-hour special, and My Hero Academia is releasing final episodes of the story. And somehow, that caused for both fandom to later have a clash over which of the characters from those two arcs is stronger. Essentially, it all started because the Chainsaw Man special introduced to us a brand new character, which everyone was waiting for, the Bomb Devil, aka Reza. And honestly, I'm not even sure I can show that character in a video all that much, because I'm pretty sure YouTube will ban strike me as soon as I do that. Not only it's the moment and the fight scene which everyone was hyping up ever since it happened in manga, but at the same time it was a character which a lot of people loved and wanted to see on the big screen. To be completely honest, that situation that I'm discussing right now is not even the most interesting about the movie itself. Like, there's a lot more going on that I wanted to talk about, but okay. Meanwhile, in a different part of the internet, My Hero Academia fans were hyping a fight between Deku, Shigaraki, and All for One, because the story of My Hero Academia is coming to an end. As such, most spectacular scenes are finally introduced. Now, to be completely honest, in this particular debate, the both of the anime are not even that much more interesting than the debate itself. Because yeah, sure, Danger is finally getting some action, Makima is doing her elaborate schemes, All for One is trying to destroy the world, or I'm still not exactly sure what his motivation is. Now, to be completely honest, I'm much more of a bigger Chainsaw Man fan rather than My Hero Academia fan, because if Chainsaw Man I'm actually as passionate about, My Hero Academia was always kinda like, I mean, I was interested in what's going on there, because whether I like it or not, it's a cultural phenomenon, and I was interested in how exactly story is progressing, but I'm sorry, no matter how visually impressive this fight is looking, I don't want to look at 20 flashbacks per second of screen time. But all of that crumbles when people literally start arguing against two anime characters, and the argument goes as far as, well, it goes pretty far, let me tell you. Basically, while both anime were getting insane amount of hype, somebody on Twitter thrown in a discussion idea. Who would win in the 1v1, Reza or Bakugo? The discussion idea was kind of interesting because both of the characters have sorta similar abilities. Although I want to point out, similar only on the surface, because essentially yes, both of them can blow stuff up, but unfortunately there's more to it, so the discussion quickly spiraled out of control. The thing is, besides everything I've just described, My Hero Academia fans, unfortunately, because of certain events in recent years, gathered more or less a reputation of children who desperate for attention, and the children who are not very polite when it comes to certain decisions of the other. He was receiving death threats when he was about to kill a character everyone liked, and he was receiving even more death threats when he refused to acknowledge a popular ship that a lot of in the fandom liked.
Horikoshi continues to get bombarded with hate over My Hero Academia, even after he apologized.
As a result, a lot of people started to associate My Hero Academia anime and a lot of weirdos in its fandom, and as a result, again, this discussion was probably doomed from the start, because nobody really wanted to compare their favorite character from Chainsaw Man to some weirdo from a weirdo anime. As such, a lot of discussions eventually were going into My Hero Academia sucks and Bakugo sucks and take the L, kiddo, get out of here. Now, in here I have to point out that power scaling is sort of a regular thing for an anime. Essentially, every time there's a new strong character comes out, people are, at some points of the internet, occasionally try to discuss if he can beat other characters who are about at the same level of strength.
10 reasons why One Punch Man would absolutely annihilate Goku in a fight.
And even though I'm specifically not very interested in power scaling, I gotta admit power scalers occasionally go, like, very far, dropping documents and like a lot of text explaining why specifically their character wins. But this situation we're talking about right now is absolutely funny for a different reason. Because after reading a lot of threads on Twitter and a few TikToks on TikTok where people discuss who exactly would win and why,
I feel like it's obvious.
It's Bakugo by a mile.
I understand this discussion is a little unpleasant for you, but it is my duty to prepare you psychologically for all possible outcomes.
and after watching and reading all of that, I started to come to a conclusion that a lot of people who are arguing in this discussion haven't even seen the anime they're arguing against. Because, like, I'm pretty sure that viewers of My Hero Academia most likely are not big fans of Chainsaw Man, and viewers of Chainsaw Man probably are not big fans of My Hero Academia.
People thinking Rize is immune to explosions, which, yeah, haven't seen the movie yet, seeing it tomorrow.
And I personally don't blame anyone, because even though both anime are kinda weird at times, especially if you look at certain examples in the fandom, but regardless, they're still pretty much targeted at different groups of people. So because of that, to me, most of the discussion look like adults over 18 arguing about their favorite character in anime against the children who are arguing about their favorite character in the anime. And essentially both of the arguments, my character win because I like him more. Because literally, most of the debates literally just go into the, my character can, blow up shit cooler than, your character.
Rize will win because she's got the perfect cheerleader hyping her up.
Some of the power scalers even went the extra mile trying to calculate the theoretical explosion that both of them would cause and came up to a conclusion that they both would just blow up. Someone even asked ChatGPT who would win. Still, most people were agreeing that Reza in a 1v1 would inevitably win. The main argument was essentially that Rize not only is super strong and has more firepower, but also can regenerate due to her demon abilities. Of course, My Hero Academia stands cut to shoot back and responded that actually Rize wouldn't be able to regenerate because she needs blood in order to do it, and in case of Bakugo, she probably wouldn't be able to get to his blood because he's faster or something. Chainsaw Man fans trying to argue back that no, Rize is actually immortal, even though Makima kind of proved otherwise. But that's where a lot of people realized that the discussion is probably not even worth it, because many people, instead of actually participating in the discussion, started just making fun of it. Because the artists from Twitter pulled up, and as you know, artists from Twitter have, like, a lot of free time, apparently. And if at first they were posting pretty biased artwork, so to speak, where Reza just annihilates Bakugo, like, these are pretty graphic, bruh. But then everything just got even funnier, because everything either started posting pictures where they're, like, being shipped, or they're hanging out, or something close to hentai, I guess. Again, do you hear me complaining? No. But everything escalated into an even funnier and even more impressive part because animators pulled up and they started posting legit impressive and detailed fights between Rize and Bakugo. Like, even Moro Productions pulled up. That's the guy, if I remember correctly, who was doing indie crossovers, which, oh boy, was pretty good. This guy posted 2 whole animations on this situation, both of which, by the way, ended with Bakugo just going to heaven. And somehow, it's disappointing not because Bakugo actually loses, but because somehow he ends up in heaven. Like, come on, bro. I can believe in any outcome of that fight, except Bakugo going anywhere but hell. Other posts were more lighthearted, to be honest, because the whole situation already gathered more hype than both anime, so people were pretty much just posting just to post. And again, because the anime came out pretty recently, the hype was still there, so everyone was getting a lot of attention, which made even more people join the hype train, and this thing spiraled even more out of control. Bro, for example, I found this artist. He does pretty cool art, I would say. They're okay, short comics and stuff, but once he started posting about Bakugo and Rize Slender, it started getting, like, way more likes. And the artwork is great, by the way, don't get me wrong. And he started posting, like, way more stuff. He started drawing, like, a whole one-shots of their interaction. Like, there's basically a comic book at this point of a whole fight between them. Bruh, I love it. The Slender is so great. I looked into it even more. There's another comic book posted, which is even longer, by the way, less detailed, but still, the effort that is put into this is freaking great. And this is legitimately really creative and funny at the same time, because the lesson that everyone has to learn as a result of this discussion is that don't beef with artists, because they can move this whole discussion, or any discussion for that matter, into a completely different field where instead of actually discussing something, they'll just make fun of you. Alright, now it's finally to share my own hot take on this whole situation. I mean, on who wins, obviously, because this whole time I've been discussing how exactly other people think this fight is gonna end, but I've never actually shared my own opinion. And that is because, in my opinion, in the fight between Rize and Bakugo, nobody would win because, brah, did you guys forget power scaling is for losers? If you're actually comparing characters from different universes written by different author, then, well, brah, you're just wasting your time, because not only you're discussing characters in the anime, where logic and rules of the world are constantly bent to favor cool scenes and, like, epicness, and bro, we're also talking about genre in fiction, where authors are known to write any shit they want. Like, they can make any kind of world they want. And in anime, it's typically the weirdest rules that control the world we're watching. Especially in case of My Hero Academia and Chainsaw Man, both worlds work by completely different rules. Like, if we're discussing simple firepower, Bakugo has a clear limit, like, physically. He can just simply be tired. Demons can't get tired, they can just go on forever, because, well, they are demons. And in the case of Chainsaw Man, demons are not even, like, just demons from hell, they're conceptual beings. They're powered by fear of humanity in them. Seriously, I remind you, we're talking about a discussion where a primordial being which represents fear of humanity into explosions is fighting a guy who has, like, gasoline for sweat. Like, bro, that's literally a representation of this meme. Like, narratively, it's two things that are incomparable. And it's even funnier with Chainsaw Man and My Hero Academia because both of the shows have different rating. Chainsaw Man has more gory stuff, so it's obviously for adults, while My Hero Academia, even with all the edginess they've shown, is still basically PG-13. As a result, you cannot compare explosions in My Hero Academia and explosions in Chainsaw Man, because Reza was okay with just blowing up everyone, and she didn't care about human casualties, which were shown to us. Meanwhile, Bakugo, well, I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure he didn't even directly kill anyone in the show. Most of his explosions, even though were pretty big and spectacular, were leaving, like, burn marks. Like, that's about it. Well, okay, except we're talking about the main villain, but that's more of an exception, I feel like. This is essentially where the entire debate just crumbles, because why would you even compare those characters, especially when most people realize it's not even interesting to compare. Although I have to point out that I absolutely loved this discussion because it gathered a lot of creative people who actually got their fair share part of the hype. Like, in the end, it's always much more interesting to see people actually making fun of the thing rather than people actually engaging in a nerdy dialogues about, oh boy, this explosion looked bigger in the animation, therefore it's stronger or something. I mean, like, of course you can do that, I'm not judging anyone, but the thing is, in my case, I'll probably be on the side of the internet that makes fun of all this stuff. In the end, I feel like nobody proved anything. Those fandoms who were actually interested in proving something stayed with their own opinions, so this whole discussion seems even more pointless now when it's over. And I feel like that is it for today. Thank you for watching. I feel like that was a pretty slop video, but in itself, I had fun. I had fun discussing, like, this whole mess. It was fun. Like, subscribe, see ya. Link in the description to my Twitter account. Bruh, no way, they're already starting another discussion. Come on, we didn't even finish that one.